back, episode 2, Alpha Sports Talk Syndicate. Big weekend with fights and all that good shit this weekend. So, got my man King Low, I'm Adel. We're gonna go over it from the streets perspective, but I want to go ahead and kick things off with the UFC card. It was lackluster to me, so it was far more going on.
Most def.
It was far more going on in boxing, so I'll let you go ahead and run away with that Anderson Silva fight.
Yeah, basically, this was Anderson Silva, supposedly his last fight. Honestly, in reality, he still don't want to give it up. He probably should have gave it up about 5 fights ago.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, he fought Uriah Hall. We had, again, so much boxing this week that you probably missed it. The card was indeed lackluster, but one thing that we did take away, once again, is that Anderson Silva needs to retire.
Yeah,
he's doing the thing that basically, exactly, ruining his legacy. He's doing like kind of what Holyfield did at the end of his career, even though he talking about coming back. You start losing to these guys, not taking anything away from Uriah Hall. He's not no spring chicken himself, you know what I mean? However, he's much younger than Anderson Silva. It seemed like every punch, any clean punch that Anderson Silva takes is gonna set him on his ass. And that's just what happened. He really didn't have no business fighting. You know what I'm saying? But he's having a hard time letting it go, Adele.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
my thing is, to me, it just wasn't a main event. I mean, it wasn't a main event. It probably should be, one of the first fights on a main card on some other event. But it was boring. Uriah Hall didn't do himself any favors by even the way he performed, as if he was scared of Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva looked a little, I won't say fat, but he wasn't he was never a lean guy, but he had a little bit more body fat on than usual, which is always a bad sign when you're talking about playing, doing combat sports. You definitely want to tighten that up. It's also just a sign of his age too. But like I say, enough with that. That was what it was. Move on to more important stuff in the sports world or in the fighting world. And that's the Gervonta Davis fight. It was a good fight. It was a good fight in regards to, okay, we seen him prime time. He got the guy out. That was a good thing. But the Mayweather madness needs to stop with this guy. But because he's a good fighter, and to be honest, he's the only thing that Mayweather has. Because that money team shit, none of those fighters are worth anything. So he's the only thing that.
What about Ashley Theophane?
I knew you was gonna bring that guy up. But my boy AB took care of him. But I'm just saying, that's the only thing Floyd got. But what was your thoughts on the fight?
Well, much of the same, man. As far as Gervonta Davis is concerned, one thing that he's blessed with is that knockout power.
Yep.
I mean, the motherfucker came with an uppercut from hell.
Yep.
That being said, I thought that he took way too much punishment. I think that he took way too many clean shots from Leo Santa Cruz. And I think that can prove to be problematic when you're fighting another puncher. If you're fighting a Garcia, if you're fighting a Teofimo, even if you're fighting a Lomachenko. But I gotta say, I definitely agree with you, man. It seems to me, coming to the ring, wearing the Mexican outfit, it's like he just like a Floyd Mayweather flunky.
Yeah.
And also after the fight, when being asked by the media about, some next potential opponents, you should have saw how quick Floyd Mayweather snatched the mic.
We really want to enjoy this victory. Soon as a fight is over, the first 10 seconds, who do you want to fight? Who do you want to fight? Tank is the top dog. Tank is on pay-per-view for a reason. Tank is where he's at for a reason. So we don't want to come up here and call different names. Like, we want to fight him. We want to fight him. We want to fight him. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is let him go home and enjoy himself with his family, his daughter, his team, and then we'll talk about that probably, what, 20, 30 days from now. But he should be able to enjoy his victory. Why every time a fighter fight, the first, who you want to fight next? Who you want to fight next? He's putting himself, I put him in a position so he can do the same thing that I did. Fight when he want to fight and fight who he want to fight.
So my man, you know, and I believe Mike Tyson even talked to him about this, you know what I'm saying? My man is letting Floyd Mayweather run his career, to me, in a negative way. And he need to stop trying to be his fucking flunky. But again, man, I thought he took too much punishment, man. Even though it was a great performance, don't get me wrong, it was a great knockout. I'm not gonna say a great performance.
Yeah.
It was a great knockout, but I thought he took too much punishment.
And I think Floyd Mayweather is living vicariously through him. Because if you think about it, he's everything Floyd wasn't. For some reason, Floyd gets credit for being a defensive fighter, which to me don't make sense. It's sort of an oxymoron, because you can't be defensive and a fighter. You know, I'm just saying, that's my opinion. So, but Gervonta Davis has no defense, and he's gonna eat punches, and he's looking for that one haymaker, and he has power, something Floyd Mayweather never had, especially not once he got up above 140. But I'll say this, you know, I just found it odd that after watching a knockout like that, all these other fighters came out the woodwork and they now want to fight him. You got Gary Russell, of course, who staked his claim. He wanted to fight him. Ryan Garcia. I mean, everybody licking at the chops to fight him because they see basically what they saw in somebody else we're going to talk about, because we, you know, he got his, we asked where was he, and that's Deontay Wilder. He got that same formula for, if you want to call it success. One punch, no defense, I eat punch as long as I can land my one big shot. That's my game plan. So he's using that formula, but all these other guys calling him out.
But I had to come on this jump after the fight last night. Tank, shorty, I want you so motherfucking bad. Floyd was scared before the 6th round. I'm letting everybody know this shit now. Because Leo was actually doing it. Leo had a good little game plan. He just couldn't stick to it. He's not defensively sound. Leo not defensively sound, so he's able to get hit with wide ass, loading up ass shots like that. I'm a real dog, Slim. When I was watching that fight, all I was doing was licking my motherfucking chops. All I was doing was licking my chops. Hopefully after this motherfucking fight, Floyd grow some nuts and say, you know what, fuck it, we'll fight Gary. But Tank, that shit had me licking my motherfucking chops last night, Slim. Leo was definitely in your ass. You was knotted all up. You was getting knotted up. You pulled that out your ass for real, for real. You pulled that out your ass, my nigga. I want you. I want you so bad, shorty. I will beat the brakes off your little ass. Please, y'all, put the press on Floyd and them and tell them niggas, man, to make this fight happen. Because they acting like some suckers, man.
Gervonta is an explosive fighter. He's a great fighter, not knocking him, never a hater. Not saying he sucks, but in order to be great, you have to go for great challenges. And this is my great challenge. This is my Sonny Liston fight. I'm extremely confident I will beat that boy down. He's just a big bully. He just comes in and rams in with his head, doesn't care if he gets hit, and tries to knock you out. That won't faze me. So
I do think this though. He put on a performance, but I don't want to seem negative about this, but here's the problem with that. And Floyd whining about, you know, giving him his respect and all that. They're now talking about putting this guy on a pound for pound list just because Floyd said it, because now there's articles out on that. But here's the problem. Once you fight somebody like that and you stake all these claims, you can't fight any more bums. Every fight from your next 3 to 4 fights should be unification fights. Should be you don't need tune-ups, none of that, because there's nothing to tune up for. And you now have new people in the division with belts. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, the division is just so deep. Those two, it's like 3 divisions that within pounds of each other.
Yep, that 130 and 135.
I mean, exactly. And we not even talk about Exactly. And we didn't even mention, at least I didn't mention earlier, I didn't mention the Devin Haney, the Shakur Stevenson. Now, Devin Haney has been calling Gervonta Davis out almost every day, almost every
Shakur
time he's on
too.
camera.
Shakur Stevenson too, but go ahead.
Exactly. So for Gervonta Davis to be, even after the fight, to not even want to call anybody out when you just, the divisions are just full of killers.
Yeah.
And you are not undisputed.
Yep.
Period. He made a statement that said that, okay, well, you know, I'm the man, I'm the top dog, so, you know, I don't gotta call nobody out, this and that. Of course, some diplomatic bullshit that Floyd Mayweather gave him to say. We want to see him fight somebody, period.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, we don't care if you lose, man. He's such a presence in the ring to where I want to see the guy fight. I don't mind him losing because he's gonna have to fight Teofimo Lopez. If he want that belt, because you got to remember, Teofimo got all the belts from Lomachenko. Those are 130 and 135. They fought at 130 over the weekend. So then you got these other guys, Miguel Berchelt. I mean, the guy throws a barrage of punches, and he got a good chin, and you got to deal with a guy like that. Not to mention, like I say, Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia really want this guy. And shout out to Ryan Garcia, because he's taking a hell of a chance in his next fight too, coming up, and he going across the pond, so that's cool. I think he is going to the UK to fight. But I'm just saying, like.
But see, this is the difference though. But look at the difference between, look, you got Teofimo talking about, yeah, I want to fight Devin Haney. Devin Haney want to fight Teofimo. Shakur Stevenson, you know what I'm saying? He want to motherfucking fight. Hard fight for Ryan Garcia.
Hey, but guess what?
We need Gervonta Davis.
It was one person that was supposed to fight him next, but somebody else stepped up, and he went on and took the fight. And that's somebody, I don't know how we forgetting to bring up this guy. That's Lomachenko. He wanted Tank Davis next.
He really wanted
the
him.
whole Teofimo thing when he splashed on the scene real tough and got the belt from Richard Comey and called him out. You know, the whole takeover thing, but Lomachenko wanted him. So if you're gonna fight a fighter without a belt, your next fight should be against Lomachenko. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight as far as a fighter without a belt, but you can't fight just some washed up old guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna say old guy, but you can't be fighting nobody over 34. And no boxer that has
some
years
little rinky-dink mandatory.
It gotta be Devin Haney.
A little rinky-dink mandatory.
It gotta be a Devin Haney, a Gary Russell, a Ryan Garcia. And I don't care if these people lose their next fight. If Devin Haney lose for some reason this weekend, that fight can still happen, to me.
I mean, and you know, he ain't fighting no pushover.
Yeah.
You know, even though Uriah Gamboa, even though he got 3 losses. You know, he got 3 tough losses. Yeah. But he a tough motherfucker. I think it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be a good fucking measuring stick.
Yeah.
Because this is his biggest name, Devin Haney's biggest name. And we've been talking about him, about how he kind of lacks power. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna be important because, you know, when you talking about your boy Garcia and Teofimo and Gervonta Davis got power. You understand what I'm saying? So he gonna have to bring something, or you gonna have to, or either you gonna have to be such a pugilist specialist to where you can't touch, you don't get touched.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's basically impossible. You know what I'm saying? In these especially in these lighter divisions.
Yeah, no doubt.
Especially in these lighter divisions.
But
these motherfuckers fast.
I know on that undercard too, man. You know, I do want to shout out Regis Prograis for, you know, bouncing back. He took his first loss in the World Boxing Super Series, so it was good to see him get back. You know, he clean. He got his man out of there. So, you know, got to show my boy love for that. But let's go ahead and move on to something I didn't know, but what that Usik Chisora fight meant, with the fact that Usik won. What people don't know is that the winner of that fight became the mandatory for Anthony Joshua. And what normally happens is they'll pay a fighter, like, cause supposedly Joshua and Fury got this thing. If Joshua wins his next fight, he'll fight Fury. If Fury wins his next fight, he'll fight. Those two will fight. But what normally would happen is they'll pay the fighter who's a mandatory a certain amount of money just so they can, meet that other obligation to where he can fight Tyson Fury. Now, here's the problem. Usik said he ain't trying to hear nothing like that. He want that belt. Yeah, he said he want the belt, and not only does he want the belt, he want all the belts. So, what people don't understand, that him fighting Chisora, which was a good fight, we saw a different breed again. He don't have the power, I don't think, for that division, but I think he got enough to outpoint a lot of these boxers, which is the reason why Tyson Fury is so confident fighting these guys, because as we talked about last week, most of these heavyweight boxers are just big lumbering guys who are there to be hit, like Dillian White, who always bring, as he say, maximum violence, but he's also always there to be hit. And along with a lot of them other guys, they just stand in front of you. So if you got any type of movement, because what Usik showed me was he's pretty much a Lomachenko in the heavyweight division. He moves, create great angles. He'll take a few punches, but at the same time, he punches. He's not a defensive fighter. He just moves real well. So what you think about that fight?
Yeah, I thought he showed definitely some toughness, man, to be able to go on, man. I thought Chisora was trying to make it a real ugly fight early. So for him to be able to stay composed, man, and I enjoyed his movement.
Yeah.
Again, I too believe that he could possibly give Anthony Joshua problems, because Anthony Joshua will have problems with that movement too. Yeah. Now the power, we gonna have to see. You know what I'm saying? We gonna have to see if he's gonna be able to. We saw it with Chisora a little sloppy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. Did he make Chisora sloppy? I've never seen Chisora reach like that in a fight. So I don't know if it was Chisora being sloppy, or was he frustrated enough from all the movement where he was just swinging, just kind of, just reach out, punching head all past his knees because of the movement. I thought maybe that was the thing with that. I never seen Chisora throw those wild type of punches though. So.
Yeah, he was missing big.
Yeah.
But he did what he had to do, as far as, what we thought of, like I said, your boy Usik, man, he weathered the storm, and then he outpointed the man, and he there, and he's not afraid. I like his confidence too. The man dominated the cruiserweight division, so cleaned it out. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting. This heavyweight picture now. What else is interesting? Real quick, you mentioned Dillian White. That fight is off. Fucking Povetkin tested positive for the coronavirus.
Oh, okay, the coronavirus.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, no, not for steroids.
Oh, okay.
Now, so that means Tyson Fury looking for a fight. Dillian White need a dancing partner. We don't know if that's gonna happen.
No, that ain't gonna
but
happen.
Nevertheless, man. I doubt it very, very seriously.
But I agree. I think it'll be a tough fight for Joshua to fight Usik. But I'm gonna say this, because you gotta understand, it won't be a fight. I think he can outpoint Joshua. But here's the thing: since you just brought up Tyson Fury needing a dancing partner and all of that, and as we get into the whole Deontay Wilder thing, people forget Fury should have lost that fight before he fought that second fight with Wilder. So let's don't think that Tyson Fury is this great boxer. You know what I'm saying? They really should have stopped that fight when he got that cut, because it was a bad cut. If it was anybody else, they would have stopped the fight. So
yeah, that was a horrible cut, and that really put the whole everything in jeopardy. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and the thing is,
that's anybody else, that fight is over.
And the thing is, he only has one belt. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to me, the person that people should be pointing at is Anthony Joshua, who got 3 of the 4 belts. So let's not get that lost here. So even though Usik is only a mandatory for one of the belts, I'm sure he'll put all his belts up because that's kind of the way Joshua is.
He gonna have to.
And you know, shout out to
that's
Joshua
really
for
usually
taking
how it
fights
go.
too, though. And shout out to him for taking his fights, took his L, bounced back. You know, like I said, those things that we want to see.
That part.
You know, so. But go ahead. I know you want to talk about Wilder. I mean, my opinion on that is very brief, but you can go ahead, knock yourself out.
I mean, you know, the dude just came out. I mean, these allegations that he's just laying on everybody. The referee was drunk. Mark Breland poisoned his water. Fury had egg weights in his gloves, and that's what dented his head. I mean, the shit is just so outlandish.
Man, you know, about 15 minutes before, you know, going out to the fight, warming up on the mitts, man, I was fucking about to put a hole in the mitts. I was, you know, it was perfect. You know, I felt great. I was going in, you know, until I went to the ring. You know, that transformation from the point of leaving my dressing room and going into the ring, drinking certain water and stuff, and trying to keep myself hydrated and stuff like that, man, I just started feeling weird, you know. And if my water was spiky, if I took a muscle relaxer or something like that, which my, you know, after a fight is over with and it don't go in your favor, you always looking for what happened, what certain, especially how I felt, even when how I felt the referee came in, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Certain things, the atmosphere just didn't seem right. It felt like something was about to go down and that was going to go in my face. You know, many people could feel the energy and the atmosphere. You know, so when I got out there, the only thing that I could reach for is like, damn, what's in my suit? Heavy, too heavy for me? But I would have never worn it if my suit was such a burden on me that I couldn't fight. Why would I do that?
Right.
This is the heavyweight title fight of the world. Why would I do that to myself? So I was very smart about certain things dealing with it. But it wasn't just the suit, 7 to 8.
Absolutely.
It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? My water was tampered with, bro. It was like I couldn't. I know what it is to work out and have some heavy you work out there after. You know what I'm saying? Shit, man. I can have sex and still go play ball and dunk and do whatever I got to do.
Right.
But this feeling right here, it was a different feeling. It's like I had no control of my body. My legs was weak and stuff like that. But although my body was weak, my mind was very strong. When do you ever see me go down on a body shot? He didn't even hit me. He pushed me
Right.
down. I feel. When you ever see me just falling back like that? When you ever not see me being the aggressor?
Right.
I couldn't even keep my hands right. You know, certain times, you know, but, you know, people don't understand. Mark didn't save my life. Because if you knew Deontay Wilder, if people knew me, they'll know that if I'm going to draw my sword, I'm going to live by that sword and I'm going to die by it.
Right.
That's my mentality in the ring, man. I can't help that. God made me who I am. If I draw my sword, I'm willing to die by it as well. I'm going to live and die by that, period. And I've been telling my people that for 5 years, so that ain't nothing new to me.
Right.
That ain't nothing new to them either. So he knew that. When he did that, he already had orders not to do that. He even had somebody on Fury's side to tell him, man, throw the towel in. They got a rematch. Throw the towel in. He was so eager to do it.
Right.
Because I believe he was part of it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He was part of it. And even more so, I think he got something to do with my water as well, too. These are my beliefs, because he was the only one handling my water. So I couldn't really focus on what was going on with him. I was more so focusing on what was going on with me and how to correct it. As you see in the 7th round, it was trying to come back around. I was adjusting myself. He even looked into the man's eyes, and I saw disappointment on his face that I wasn't fading away like he thought or what they planned on me doing, because he had something. I truly believe he had something in his glove, because I have the physical proof in my face, and I also have the doctors to prove that as well, 78.
Right.
So this ain't that I'm just making up, bro.
Right, for sure.
You talking about a guy that can't punch.
Right, right.
He cannot punch. He cannot punch. They cheated in the first fight, pulling them gloves down like that, but we just won't own it. Nobody wasn't really paying attention to own it like that. But it makes sense now, because this time around, even with my ear, like I explained, my ear It wasn't because he hit it and it busted. Nowhere near it. I had scratches deep in the inside of my ear, bro. And how the hell you think that happened?
Right, exactly.
Because his fist was in the middle, in the end part of the glove, and he scratched me in it. That's why I started to bleed.
My thing is, I don't understand why this man feels that he's so important, that he's just so great, that there's this huge conspiracy. And I understand, another thing is he's playing the race card. First of all, we people that watch boxing have known ever since he stepped on the scene that he cannot box.
Yeah.
You cannot box.
Yeah.
And just like you said, we keep coming back to it. I believe that this dude is devastated. He believed his Kool-Aid, like you said. He is totally mentally devastated.
Yeah.
I've had to go back and re-watch the fucking fight.
Yeah.
This dude was not drugged. It wasn't nothing wrong with him. He took a serious... It wasn't that he was facing a hellacious puncher, because Deontay Wilder, if you were facing a hellacious puncher, you would have been knocked out early. It was the fact that you was getting hit with everything.
Yeah.
You was falling for feints. Now, I mean, he made Tyson Fury look like
Muhammad Ali.
he was a black man.
Like,
You understand?
like
Exactly, like he was Muhammad Ali. Mark Breland poisoned your fucking water. Why would Mark Breland do that? Know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
fine.
see now,
That's
and then
fine.
not only that too, we know I'm gonna start calling him Deacon Wilder, because now all of a sudden this loss, this dude has went from saying that he wanted to catch a body, that he wanted to kill somebody in the ring. He went from that to now he quoting all kind of Bible verses. He's on 78 Sports or whatever, screaming about Jesus and this and that, and come on, Wilder, now you found religion. You understand what I'm saying? It's just, it's ridiculous, and he might get sued.
But my thing,
I'm waiting to hear what everybody got to motherfucking say. Not only that, you wait 8 months? 8 months to bring out these allegations? No, bruh. You got your ass handed to you. You got hit with everything but the kitchen sink. And you got hit with the faucet on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, he now come forward with all these allegations, but do we remember what the first excuse was? The suit was too heavy. So what happened in that regard? Was it the suit? That was the first thing he said, his suit was too heavy, that he came out in. Okay, but I'll say this. Anybody who has smoked weed, had alcohol, got drunk, when your body feels off. So you wait till now to bring up the fact, fuck the night of the fight. When you say this guy spiked your drink or your water. You would have known that while you walk into the ring. Like, you've been like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. I need to, you know what I'm saying? You know how it is, if you feel different, because you should know how you feel. You fought enough fights to know that you don't feel like
he would have been saying it after the fight.
And this whole, but he was just talking about his suit. So again, like I say, I don't even want to talk about the guy. I applaud him for his assumed blackness, but as we know, there's levels to
one more thing though. Here's the big problem.
But
you labeling these allegations, he's acting like he's just the king. And okay, bro, you could be a king in your household and all of this shit. But if you listen to how he's talking, man, he talks so delusional. And you are attacking other black people. Okay? Mark Breland tried to save your ass, but let's not even talk about Mark Breland. I hope he come out with some kind of a statement. But then you said that the referee was in on it, and the referee was drunk. I challenge anybody to go back and watch that fucking fight. The ref was trying to save your ass. If anything, the ref was concerned about you, Deontay Wilder. The ref was giving you all kind of breaks, Deontay Wilder. So again, you understand, and I know we've been through a lot in this country. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, we have had the card stacked against us, but I'm sorry, bro. One thing that I do not fucking like is for somebody to play the motherfucking race card, and race don't got nothing to do with this. Nobody, you not that great, Deontay Wilder, to where somebody wants to just knock you down because you're just so great and big and just the king of the black community. You're not the only black boxer. You're not highly intelligent. You're not even a modicum of intelligence. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
You don't know how to, you're not articulate. And again, you know, you from the South, you're leaning on that old time religion. Deontay Wilder, get in the motherfucking ring and fight. And it's funny you wait to talk till after the contract expire. Now you saying that this man is ducking you?
Yep.
And if the man had an egg weight, wait a minute, if the man had egg weight in his hand the whole motherfucking fight, then Mark Breland might have saved your ass from death then. Even though we know this shit is fucking Deontay's fables. But go on, boss.
Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say, but I know it was something along the lines of the whole. Oh, he said in that interview, he said, "I gave you a rematch." No, it was mutual. It was a draw. It wasn't no you giving him a rematch after the first fight. It was mutual. It was a draw. To me, you lost the first fight, but Deontay Wilder, to me, let's say if all the allegations are true. Let's just say all of them are true. Everything he says is true. Get your ass back in the ring. It don't even have to be with Fury. Beat the shit out of somebody else. Some of these new guys. That's all you got to do. Then he'll have no choice but to face you.
He's setting himself up for a very brutal fall. Because first of all, people is chomping at the bits to fight his punk ass now too, because he's been exposed, which is something that we already knew. And you vulnerable now. Your mental state is gone. You feel what I'm saying? So we will see what happens to a Deontay. He's setting himself up to me, brutally get knocked out by somebody. You know what I mean?
Well, the lack of movement to me is just, you can't just stand back with your right hand cocked. You can't just do that the whole fight. You can't just, and you know, that's what Fury said way before he fought him the first time. He was just going down the line, you know, pointing out how all these supposedly great fighters fight. You know, he was talking about how, you know, just Dillian White just, you know, lumbers forward. Anthony Joshua don't move too much. But Deontay Wilder just want to stand back with his right hand cocked the whole time. So it should be easy pickings for a lot of these guys. But still, another person who fought, the one I mentioned the first episode, Jared Anderson, he fought a guy that wasn't on his level, and he did what he needed to do. He finished him, period. Because sometimes you run into those guys who take a bunch of punches and, you know, they don't really go down. So he just overwhelmed him, got him out of there. So again, the heavyweight division moving on. So Deontay Wilder, there's plenty of other people that he can fight. So just like, you know, the world, we moving on from Deontay Wilder, at least on this
Hey, that motherfucker will be back.
But
that motherfucker will be back with his bullshit soon. We'll be talking about his ass.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if Fury does fight again and beat whoever he fight. But something I want to talk about, because this will be short and pretty much wrap it up. You know, last episode we talked about Floyd Mayweather talking about there was too many belts, and I said basically, you know, hell, that was the reason he was able to duck Manny Pacquiao, because he always had a belt, so therefore he was always a champion. So there was no need to get all the belts. But Roy Jones had something different to say about it.
When I was fighting, I wasn't like them. I wouldn't have got every belt possible that I could get in my weight class at the time. And Mike did the same thing. We come from the old school. We wasn't no talk about we'll take this with, no. We want every belt you got. I don't care what kind of belt it is. It could be the Joe Patty Seafood belt. I want that. I don't care what it was. If you had a belt in my weight class, in my prime, I wanted that. So right now, you think you want to see me perform, you put a belt on the line, I'm sorry, but it's like drugs. I just can't say no. You offer me a title, you got me, baby. We got to do it now. So it don't mean nothing to people like him, maybe, but it meant the world to me.
And he said it all. It's like drugs.
And shout out to Roy Jones for keeping it real. And he keep, like any real fighter, they want that belt.
That's the trophy.
So,
Roy said he don't care what belt it is, what it say on it. He want it. He want
it. Yeah. So, but again, we go talking about Floyd Mayweather, and the problem with Floyd Mayweather now, he's so irrelevant. It's kind of like if anytime you start talking about greatness, for some reason this society nowadays is everybody's great, everybody's a GOAT, or you know what I'm saying? But anytime we start talking about people who were once at the top of their sport, they retire, they move on. Very few names get pulled back up. And the only one right now is really Michael Jordan. He's the only name that constantly gets brought up whenever people start talking about anybody in a sport. When they start talking about, okay, if this is the best person, they compare him to Michael Jordan in the NBA. He's really the only person in that sport. There's very few. Mike Tyson kind of won as far as heavyweights, but nobody is talking about Floyd Mayweather. I think that's killing him, because if you notice, and it actually mirrors his fighting style, backing up, like somebody's always punching him. So basically what I'm saying is, he's always the victim. Every interview, somebody's not treating him right. He's whining about this. So if you think about the way he used to fight, backpedaling, trying not to get hit, clinch, like the whole fight with Manny Pacquiao. He ran backwards. Anytime Pacquiao would start punching, he hold him. So
remember what I called it?
I
called that fight, man, the flight of the century, man. The flight of the century.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Floyd versus Pacquiao, just the flight, man. My man was on that bicycle. That man was like the Tour de France.
Yeah.
You ever see what I'm saying?
No, the worst part was my wife, she tried to watch it. She was like, and this is her word, she said, you gotta do a hell of a lot of cardio to fight Mayweather. All you do is run the whole fight. And she ain't even a boxing fan. She was just noticing like he's just running backwards. Because anybody who wanna watch a fight, they wanna see people fight. So you know what I'm saying? But to watch somebody backpedal and hold for 12 rounds and say that you're a magician, you can't get hit.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, shout out to Roy.
But like I said, we pretty much, damn right. The only thing Mike Tyson got out of that whole thing was, we said like doing drugs.
Like drugs. Yeah, because that nigga couldn't talk through his mask. Now all of a sudden Mike wearing a mask. Remember he just got finished trying to get on Boosie, Lil Boosie, for talking about Dwayne Wade's son, not his daughter. They try to make motherfuckers say that it's a girl. I mean, and Mike Tyson told Boosie, could you perhaps be gay? Maybe you're gay because you don't like people. Not to get into that. We know Mike has been compromised. Mike had been compromised a long time ago. So Mike is gonna push a certain agenda. Taking nothing away from his motherfucking boxing skills. You know that fight with him and Roy Jones? Yeah.
And boxing knowledge.
Yeah, just like I said, and we don't look for these sports guys, for guidance and shit anyway. What is it that you say? They entertainers,
Hell no.
Right?
Hell
What's your famous saying?
Yeah, that's it. They are. Oh yeah, do what you do and entertain me. I don't want to hear what you got to say about social anything. Just do like Martin said on there whenever he was on, what was the episode? It was the talent show.
Entertain
Go ahead and do what
me.
you do. Entertain me. Do what you do. That's it, just entertain me. That's all. Again, shout out to the old school athletes who all they did was do their sport. And just leave it at that. We don't need the commentaries because there's another level of intelligence, thought, studying, Plus you gotta think too, because we come from that background of the pro-blackness and all of that consciousness. And the one thing that we know is there's an immense amount of hours that's put into reading, doing some real research, not just going to Google and searching, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of books and different things, cultural shit that you really got to understand. But all that time that I know I spent, I'm sure you spent, enormous amount of time reading and studying. But see, for an athlete, all that time when you should be reading, you were doing what you should have been doing, which is preparing for your sport. So you can't really be on that level. You have to retire, spend you about 5 to 10 years, studying and understanding what the social concerns are and why we in the predicament we in. But when it all boils down to it, it's pretty much what you were doing, entertainment.
And remember, they got agents. You got agents. You are not free.
Yeah.
We know that. You can't send a certain tweet out now. If you're in the NBA, NFL, any of these organizations, a lot of these things are in the contracts now. So when we see these athletes coming out, pushing an agenda, or they are allowed to do. When we see a LeBron James, the whole Black Lives Matter shit. See, these are things you are allowed to do, but you are not allowed to speak out against homosexuality or not fucking wearing a mask and shit and all of these things.
Yeah.
Not if you are a highly paid athlete. But again, we know that's a whole nother story.
But here's the thing, though. The true test is gonna tell with LeBron James and the NBA is when the season start back. A lot of them talking about they don't want to come back before Christmas and all of that. But the league lost so much money with the playoffs and the finals this year because the ratings were shitty as hell. But all of those guys said they agreed to come back so they could make the bubble their platform, that whole playoff run and all of that, so they can get their message out and talk about Black Lives Matter. But now Adam Silva, the commissioner, has now said they're getting rid of all of that. So my thing is LeBron James and what they call them the woke NBA. So if this happens, apparently you're not in control of the NBA. If Adam Silver can tell you, no, you can't wear those slogans on the back of your shirt, on the back of your jersey, and they're gonna take Black Lives Matter off the court, and they're not gonna do all that kneeling, or at least they won't show it on TV. They may show it for the first game, they won't show it no more. But, so how is that now your platform? What you gonna do, scribble something on your shoes? But again, they've taken that power away from you because they control you, and that's just what it is. So, with that being said, we can go ahead and wrap things up unless you got something else you want to say about that nonsense.
Alpha Sports Talk Syndicate. Nah, you know what I'm saying? The NBA soft as fuck right about now. I wish we had it back in the motherfucking like we had it in the 80s and the 90s and shit.
90s.
Shit, especially the fucking 90s. But remember, even in the 70s.
Yeah,
but even in the 70s,
90s,
Kareem was breaking people's face.
But it was grown men.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was grown men playing. You know what I'm saying? Like now, they like kids out there. You scared to see certain people in real life. They look like grown ass men. But anyway, like I say, appreciate the support. Check us out. May change the format up, but leave your comments or whatever. We'll
hey, I'm
check
killing
them
him with this shirt too, boy. This another one. Nigga Jim Kelly.
I don't know if you can see, man. I got the light on there.
Nah,
Jim Kelly, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. I got the Khalid Muhammad. I don't know if you can see it, the light on it, but it's a Khalid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's
break out the Khalid.
That's Mando.
Had to break out the Khalid.
Mandatory.
Yeah, had to break out the Khalid. Yeah, it gets no more manly or masculine than that. So shout out to Khalid.
We out. Alpha Sports Talk Syndicate.